Yo, 1 2 1 2. I made cuss, but I don't curse. Let's get that situated first. First bars, because I'm nice and all that. We already know that though. Album dropping. Let me stop. But yo, glad you all can make it. Get in tune with this video for the Taurus Collective. Taurus Collective, what's going on? Bulls. Been led to do this reading. Also for like experimental purposes, so maybe not completely been led. Well, anyway, let's see how it goes. All right. Hope everybody's enjoying the day out there. Cross watchers, you're welcome to be here. Of course, this is a safe space for you. And with no further ado, bars because I'm nice. Let me just draw a card from the alchemy deck and see what we're dealing with. What's that? Saturn. Let's put this up on the shrine. Go into the book, get the definition, and get to it. Okay. Planets. Saturn is known as the great ruler, the authoritative father, and the structuring force. Limitations, rules, logistics, and laws all fall under Saturn's claim, and they insist on our adherence. Saturn constricts, it corrects, it governs. The force of this planet is mind-bogglingly frustrating, especially for creative types. Talk about it. As it can feel like one limitation after another, yet its ability to support is unmatched. No creative project can come to be without the Saturnian qualities of commitment, endurance, and steadiness. The tick of the clock reminds us of this planet's steadfast presence, eternally measuring. It's no surprise it's associated with the metal lead and the qualities of density and weight. To embrace Saturn is to embrace the foundation and become one's own central authority. It's not as dull or easy as it sounds. That's Saturn's secret. I was just discussing this. What reading was that, or discussion was that? I brought up Saturn. Not only was I talking about Saturn yesterday with someone, but I was talking about how to become an authoritative figure, especially in a space of creativity, is the goal eventually. And sometimes we forget the Saturn return part of our lives astrologically, to where, eventually it's okay to be led by someone. It's okay to take orders. A great leader is going to somewhere along the lines follow something or someone. The goal ultimately, however, is to step into your authoritative stance. Everyone has one. Everyone will have one, right? For those watching who hasn't obtained their return yet. And I feel strongly that this is somewhat associated with that. And for the creative types out there, Taurus has a great deal to do with the art sector. Some of you may be frustrated with your own work of arts of right now. My discussion yesterday revolved around the heaviness of Saturn. Creativity was actually mentioned in that discussion as well. Even fame was brought up in this discussion, and I was mentioning how the fear, we're going to get into some tarot now, y'all. I was mentioning how the fear of fame was something that I had to deal with during this Scorpio new moon, because I had to go internally into the darkness and say, what is it that I'm missing, or what is it that I'm fearful of doing? So I had to search out where the inaction was, and it actually revolved around my creativity, but I'm not going to get too much into me. I think that's enough about me. Let's get into these cards. Let's get into the Taurus, the Taurian collective, to wherever it may apply in your chart. I'm going to keep eye for myself personally as I do the reading. And you can do the same. But in general, overall, this is for the Tauruses. Spirit, lead me, lead us, guide us to interpret these messages given to us divinely, to take what resonates, leave what doesn't, right? Don't force it. If it doesn't fit, pause, because that's crazy work. But for real. And see what we got going on here. What's this? The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. What else? So we got a number 12 out here. That may mean something to someone. What's this? The the 5 of Swords, but it's in reverse. Okay. What's this? The Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Wow. I'm saying wow because I see signs of the discussion again unfolding. So when I said this is going to be experimental, I meant that. Pardon the lighting in here today too. And I guess you could say this is not a vanity video, but I just want to get her done. The Star in reverse. What else, Spirit? What else? Shuffle of the deck. What else? The Devil. Being told to stop there. Pardon me, y'all. But I must get this right. If you know, you know. Gotta set up the shrine correctly, Okay, so the heaviness, the density of Saturn is very apparent in these cards that have been drawn, beginning with the Hanged Man. This is a collective Taurus feel right now, to where you feel stuck. And one of the reasons why you are noticing this stagnancy so heavily is because of time. You see, if you weren't looking at the clock and you weren't looking at the calendar and you didn't say to yourself, oh, it's the end of 2024 already as I'm recording this, this wouldn't be a reason for you to mark those moments against your goals. And you feel like questioning whether this is what you're supposed to be doing or not. Now, I feel for some of y'all, this has something to do with switching gears when it comes to careers. Bars are nice. We know that already. And I'm under the assumption that you believe you have to put one thing down to pick up the other. But what I'm being shown here with the Hanged Man is that if you change your perspective, if you shift your perspective to understand that it's not a direction that you need to be going in when it comes to the things that you're juggling, pause. But it's more about stepping into that other thing that you weren't stepping into more, then you'll understand that there's time for both. See, the Hanged Man is existing outside of the time restraints of Saturn. However, Saturn is there to just show you that in order for you to be, as I said before, authoritative in the stance of that other thing that you may be switching careers for or showing up more for, you need to build a foundation that's solid enough to solidify it. That's what it's really about. And that's once you realize that and you relinquish the need for direction, then you realize that this is actually a peaceful resolution. The way that you find this out is by communicating with others. And for some of you, I feel like that's not what's happening a lot lately. It should be happening more. Some of you can also be under the impression that some conversations are just not worth it. And I would say that perhaps you are correct, But there's another side of that that says, well, who are the relationships in your life that where you can have a conversation that does bring some type of healing, some type of revelation, some type of insight, have those conversations then. There's got to be somebody in your life that you can kick it with like that. And if not, I would say to get online. Yeah, get online. I just seen a video of this woman who said, she doesn't like mobile phones at all. She doesn't, you know what I mean? And I understood exactly where she was coming from. And she was like, well, what's the point of it? What's the sense? How can you live your life if you're always looking to react based upon what you see and the information that you receive? Granted, however, some people are very lonely out here. Some people have lost communicative ties with family and people they grew up with and stuff like that because life got the life in. And I feel this for some of y'all deeply. Life got the life in, and you realize that your coworkers became more important than your family members because those are the people that assisted you on the job every day, and that job is what assisted you in obtaining the wealth to take care of your household, to take care of yourself. So it did start to become like, what's the point if I spend the majority of my life with these people just to stay afloat? You understand where I'm coming from? So I get it. Again, that heavy burden of Saturn just saying, look, you need to be an authoritative figure, and if you drop the ball in this area, you can't be. Like, those are just the rules of the earth. And it's like, oh, right. However, like I said, if you have those types of relationships and you don't have the types of relationships that you can lean on, you can actually go online and find people that have like minds, right? So it's like your news feed, that algorithm. This is where that can come in handy because people will actually pop up in that feed based upon the things that you prefer, right? So your preference becomes automated in this conversational web, if you will, right? And it's like, this is where telepathic energy starts to kick in as well, because you may not have direct links to individuals, but you could think about certain things, certain topics. You click on one, you click on another, then they just keep coming and tumbling. Pause. Then the next thing you know, you've received enough information to inspire, enough information to absorb, to be enthused enough and motivated enough to keep going in the things that you're doing. Now, without that, you would still be looking for direction, right? But that's just the key point I'm seeing here. That is, being in the moment is the direction. There's no, forward, backward, left, right. It's right now. Right now is the how, is what I'm hearing. Bars. I know I'm nice, but that's what I'm hearing. Actually, when you take time is what let me rephrase that. When you utilize patience right now, because time is so heavy, for this reading, I don't really want there to be a heavy focus on time. Be aware of it, of course. The Devil card is out here. Saturn is out here in the beginning. Like, it's pretty evident. We got the Knight of Pentacles out here. That's a Saturnian card. Capricorn card. But this is what I'm discussing now. It's like, the more that you become patient in the steps that you're taking, bars. We know I'm nice. This is where time actually heals the wounds that have come from you feeling that you haven't arrived yet. The word yet is just like, should not be in your vocabulary. All right? And patience is going to show you that, I don't know, I feel this may be an experiment for some of you to take home with you. Take a selfie today. This is not in some type of vain kind of way. This is just to do an experiment on time. But take a selfie today and take a selfie exactly 7 days from now again. And just sit them side by side and compare and contrast them, and you be the judge of what time has done between those photos. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be vain, like, oh, I look 7 days younger, I look 7 days older. Just look at the difference in the messages in your face that have to do with 7 days. Some of you work out, you want to do that, compare and contrast the 7 day difference, because you'll become more reliable on patience should you do something of this sort. You'll also receive a windfall in being more patient about the moves that you're making. Bars. We know I'm nice. Someone is going to bring you some money at that. But it's almost like you might even think that it's personal, like they're watching you, or have some type of, like I said, telepathic way of seeing what you're up to, because you can hear this, and then the next thing you know, you take your time, you practice some patience, and then here they come with this bread for you. And I'm distinctively hearing and seeing that this comes in the form of money. But this does not mean to be patient and not do anything. This means to actually be patient and diligent in your work ethic. Some may say hard work, but I would say, if you can do it, if you can jot a to-do list, do it and check off all of those boxes. That's going to assert itself as hard work, because I feel like normally at some other time it might be scattered, but with the energy in Saturn bars being so heavy right now, that it will be assembled in a way that is orderly, and you'll shock yourself about how many of those boxes you can check off, even if you're not task oriented like that heavy Virgo energy, heavy Earth energy. You'll see how this can add on to your enthusiasm as well. And this will assist you in reaching your goal. For the creatives as well, this is screaming loud at me for those of you who are doing creative artsy work, do a to-do list, get a checkbox, get a vision board, and check off, make it a goal, turn it into a goal. That has been, look, I'm an artist myself, I understand, but that is the toughest things for artists to do, because it's a differentiation between the hemispheres of the brain. The creator is the right side. The analyst who wants order is the left side. So, but what you don't, or what you might not realize, is the magic in it. And even the CIA knows this. The hemisphere sync is right in the middle. That wave of the middle is what we call state of flow. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to try to be, because you'll see the unfolding of it. And when you step into the state of flow, it doesn't feel like time is passing by. It feels like time has stood still. That's what I'm hearing to tell y'all. So map your artistic endeavors out like a business plan. Despite how much it may hurt, you may be tricking yourself into thinking that you won't be able to create. And that may be so, but it's just that you're supposed to pump brakes on the actual creation until you do the grunt work, so to speak, the paperwork, the analytics of it. So yeah, you might not be in the best mood to create some music or some art or some photos or whatever you do, right? But you'll see, after you shape and mold the format for it to unfold, you'll see just how enthused you'll be to create again. And then you'll realize that both are part of the state of flow. Right? Because you can make a million, let's say you can make a million songs, or you can make you could take a whole lot of photos, but who's going to be in control of the business? You understand what I'm saying? Are you going to be the authoritative figure of that avenue? Think about it. Now, a technique that some of y'all are using, well, it's not a technique, but you're tricking yourself out by thinking that this is a moment of despair, some of y'all, and it's because y'all are focusing on what you don't have, even what the creation doesn't have. You are, and I know you've heard this before in inspirational videos and stuff. Motivational speakers say this, especially spiritualists. They say, believe that it's done already. Even you could be, I'm not saying to be delusional. Like if you are missing something that you know that you need for something to unfold, still tell yourself you got it, you're stepping into it. It's arriving at a moment that is more in sync with the flow of what you're doing. And in the meantime, you should be doing that heavy Saturn work. Like I said, especially for creatives, You should be doing the formatting, the grunt work of that. And it's going to feel like you're being patient. It's going to feel like you're waiting. It's going to feel like you have no direction. Trust me, though, it's going to unfold at the moments of time that confirms exactly what I'm saying. All right? So, yes, this is going to feel boring at times. But that's the point. That's the point, because boring now equals authority later, being authoritative later, because you're going to have that know-how. You're going to be able to enter conversations when you could sit at tables, boardrooms, or negotiate in a way, because Saturn is exalted in the sign of Libra, which rules over negotiations. So there's a difference when you step into a room when you know how to implement the boring stuff, and you can discuss that with people who would otherwise take advantage of you in that area, and rightfully so, right? When you don't know certain things or you don't have the skill set to do certain things, it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Let them do it. But how many accountants have robbed millionaires at that, right? Because they did not want to take on the task of accounting, which can be very tedious, don't get me wrong. However, technology keeps advancing, things keep advancing in our lives. If you would take some time, you might be able to see how some automated programs and software can actually do your taxes for you. That's what I'm saying. Again, tedious, yes. Boring, yes. Heavy, time consuming, getting in the way of your artistic flow, if you perceive it that way. It's all about a shift of perspective. Maybe your art just got to be on hold for you to get this other stuff done. Now look, for those of you who this may depress, just hearing about this may sound heavy for some of y'all. It's all about perspective. Because you can let this weigh so heavy on you that it starts to deteriorate your health. Until you change your perspective, it may continue to go in that direction. But when you shift your ego in a way that says, let me humble myself. All right? And release the idea that you're being dependent or codependent on other things to pop up in your life in order for you to make a move. Release that for a moment and tell yourself that you're just giving yourself space to make the moves in a way that is more aligned with a healthy flow for you, or else you will be overwhelmed by the imbalance that comes with only knowing how to create and not knowing how to do the analytics. Because that will be an issue that will be unchecked later on in life, right? So it's like, handle it now. Just do it now. And you'll understand why this was a thing at this particular time. I also feel like some of you are fearful of a connection that you're in right now. You believe that there's two sides of it. One side is like, and I feel like for the creatives, it can be a tricky line, because when you're creating with people and you're doing the balance, the dance, if you will, of business with them, right? Some creatives overlook the part where there's an edge of professionalism that needs to be associated with the creation. So some creatives can sleep with their business partners. Some business partners can take advantage of the creatives by sleeping with them as well. And what I'm also seeing and hearing is that you may be unable to separate the two, or you may think that you're going to lose the connection with certain someones over other ones, right? Or a certain someone over doing business with another one. And I'm also seeing you can't live your life like that. You can't do this like that. You can't. You're going to have to find a way to bring balance to this. You're going to have to find a way to maybe even display. Maybe if you got to be transparent, or maybe not. But you gotta, maybe some things are not for everyone to see, especially at a particular moment, because they won't understand the process. Sometimes you gotta do it and keep it under wraps, and then just put out the project, right? And then all of the people who may or may not been involved with it, or the people that you're trying to protect, let's say, so to speak, is what I'm feeling and hearing. Then they see the finished product and they just like, you know, it might be a tough pill to swallow, whatever it is that you're doing. I'd say an example would be like, let's say a photographer is taking pics of your tits or whatever. Maybe not full-fledged tits, but you understand what I'm saying, right? In a position where it's like, oh, they may be looking at your girl, or they may be looking at your guy, he might be taking bodybuilding pics or something like that. And if you were to be privy of that information while it was happening, there might be more destruction to that connection than there would be when, in contrast to when you've seen it after the work was done and it was displayed on a professional format. And it's part of that person's life is what I'm also seeing and hearing. So it's like, are you going to be able, or are they going to be able to live with you doing what you're doing? I don't care what it is that you're doing. You don't got to show your tits. Y'all know how I am. I speak like that sometimes, right? But it's like, that's what everybody gets outraged about anyway. It's freeing the nipple. Let's just keep it a bean. So I like using that as an example, but it can be anything. You could just be online talking like I am right now. And, you might not like how, or you might not, or you may feel some type of way because of how people comment in their section, and if you're paying that close of attention and stuff like that. And it's just like, woo side out, B, because, we're all doing the best that we can to do what we need to do for ourselves. North Node is still in Aries right now. So that ego that's rising up, that has you questioning dependence and depending on other people and stuff like that, that's part of this. People are trying to do things as much as they possibly can in this time right now on their own, to see what they're capable of, to actually be more involved and powerful when it comes to, like I said, entering negotiations in a Saturnian type of way, in a corporate type of way, in a consistent type of way, to where they can say, well, this is my track record. I uploaded this amount of videos. I got this amount of views. I got this amount of hours. I made this amount of sales, and I did this all on my own. Of course, with the contribution of my team, my followers, my subscribers, my customers, this, that, and the third. But this is what I've generated all on my own. So this is what I bring to the table, right? Relationships going crazy these days, and the blogs and the tabloids. Well, what do you bring to the table? Oh, bitch, I am the table. And look, we're going to have a serious discussion once that node transit, moves on. And it's going to be like, look, this is what I bring to the table. You know what table I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious, as Saturn would suggest. I'm being an authoritative figure sitting at this table, telling you what I'm capable of, bars. And, you may hurt some people's feelings on the way. You may toughen them up and say, yo, look, this is what I do. You fucking with me or not, I see what you do. I'm still fucking with you, But if you feel awkward by me still fucking with you based upon what you do, then let me know. You know what I mean? But we got to do what we got to do, right or wrong. That's the energy that's out here right now, That's the energy that's out here right now. So I hope this helps. I can't wait till y'all get y'all windfalls. Me too. You know what I'm saying? It's not the only thing, but all of that. I can't wait till you reach the goal of achieving, especially you artists out there, of achieving what you are in the process of creating and finishing artistically. And I can't wait for you to understand. I'm saying I can't wait, but time is of the essence, right? But I can't wait for you to understand the perspective shift when it comes to time, and how time is just a tool to mark on the calendar for goal achievement. It's pretty much it. Don't overwhelm yourself, Because if you need an extension, you get an extension, right? Corporations do it all of the time. The deadline is just it's just like a measuring stick to test your capacity, your ability to not be distracted, right? But it doesn't mean you have to turn on the speed. It could mean just making workflows easier. And the way that you do that is by not doing so much, but doing the things that absolutely need to be done routinely. Right? A routine is a routine. You could do 20 things in one day consistently, or you can do 3 things in one day consistently. It's still going to be consistency. And do you want to be burnt out? Till next time, I'm out.